Well, fortunately, I finally got to see you guys the other day at the Brisbane leg of the World of Vampire Festival,
Sick.
and was, yes, front row and beaming the entire time. You were the best band of the day, like by a long shot, and I'm
Whoa,
including the Pumpkins
that's
in
a
that.
big call, man.
Yeah, and
Don't
I
tell
say, look,
Billy.
they can fucking Billy can fight me.
Yeah,
I don't care.
he'll take you in the wrestling ring, man.
Yeah. How surreal was that shit? I've never seen that before. I've never actually been to a wrestling match. Like,
Neither. It was, yeah. Like I've seen, sort of the memes on the internet about wrestling and a few sort of footage, but actually seeing it live and, them flipping over each other and slamming onto like there was I can't remember if they did it at the Brisbane show, but the Bribie Island one, there was two of the wrestlers got up on stage with the Pumpkins while they were playing on the stage and were wrestling there as well. Did they do
yeah,
that at the
they
Brisbane
did
show? We had
that.
to
Yeah,
we
they
like,
did that during Beguiled at
yeah, right.
yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
and still
looking going,
slamming on that. Like that stage is fucking solid as, and they're just slamming on it. So yeah, mad props to them.
yeah, God bless them. Look, I'll never give them people call, when I was a kid called it fake. And I'm like, yeah, no
Mm,
shit. But it's not fake, it's choreographed. Like those falls
yeah,
they're taking are very real. And like
yeah, yeah.
as a guy with a back injury, man, it makes me cringe.
Not your
Um,
sport then.
no. But one thing that was flagrantly irresponsible and that happened during the festival was actually because of you who flagrantly and without any one could say negligently throughout the break stuff breakdown with no heed for the potential consequences. The festival could have burnt down. What a
Yeah, look, I'd like to say that we hadn't seen or learned the lessons from the documentary Netflix, but and it was funny. Like we used to play that before that documentary came out, and then we kind of just left it, and we're like, we should probably change that, and we just didn't.
fuck.
But it always actually like to get a crowd going. Like if you play that, it actually. I don't know it's kind of like a cheat code just to kind of get everyone amongst it. Like they're like, "Fuck yeah!" Like I don't know. It's a very quick win. So no, but we should probably look at a change, mixing it up a little bit.
Don't you dare. You had to keep that, and that's vital. It took me a second to be like, it's the
Yeah.
fucking break stuff riff.
Yeah.
Holy shit, what is this? Um, so what if you don't mind me asking, how old are you?
I'm 29 personally.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's interesting to me, man, because I'm 37 years old. So yeah, Limp Bizkit were the biggest band in the world when I was 16.
Yeah.
And it's so crazy to me seeing not only the fashions coming back, like yeah, Emmy would have fit right in 2000 with that outfit she was wearing. Yeah, the big JNCO
Yeah.
pants and
Yeah. Yeah.
crop
Yeah.
tops and stuff. And the new metal sound has both just all of a sudden is back. And like,
Yeah.
yeah, what are your thoughts on that? Because that would have been the music that was playing. That would have been like your grunge, because grunge was a big thing when I was a very young child. And for
Yeah.
you, I'm guessing it would have been new metal.
Yeah, totally, man. So yeah, I grew up with the Limp Bizkits and the Linkin Park. It's funny, like the 20-year Meteor album came out and I was like listening through that. I'm like, holy fucking shit. Like I remember all of this sort of thing. And yeah, I know my brothers got me like they all listen to that sort of music, so I was kind of just listening through them. But yeah, it's interesting everyone sort of rolling back to kind of like heavier, rockier shit now and how much that kind of music's been blended into a lot of pop modern stuff. Um, yeah, like there's a guy, Nothing Nowhere, who he does like, the emo rap kind of thing, and he just put out an album with this features like Under Oath, but it's this really kind of like new metal, heavy bounce riff kind of shit that was, would have popped off back in the day with a lot of sort of modern rapping in there. So yeah, I love it personally, and it's funny like when Redhook first released our second song, Turn Up the Stereotype, everyone was so quick to be like, oh, it's fucking new metal, like get this shit like I know, even sort of thinking back, that was in 2018, 2019, and it had a bit of a bad sort of name there.
Mm.
But now it's, we sort of take or whatever people want to call us because we don't just sort of stick to one genre. We just, yeah, do what we want.
It's weird how it's kind of made that turnaround. I mean, Ocean Grove
Mm.
were a metalcore band,
Hmm.
and now it's
Yep.
full blown like Up in the Air Forever. It would have been like the soundtrack to Krusty Demons of Dirt in
Totally.
in the late 90s, early 2000s.
Yep.
I
So
know.
good. Love it.
Me too. So I've been cranking the album. I was, yes, cranking the new album in the gym today, which means that you are somewhat responsible for these amazing boulders that I call
Oh,
shoulders.
I could tell you're looking pretty swole there, my dude. Yeah.
Oh, thank you, man.
Don't try to hide it from me. It's
um, yeah, man, the album's nuts.
Cheers,
Soju
dude.
features a gang vocal that sounds like it was recorded live. How did you guys go about that?
We did that before the song was obviously released. We played a show in Shell Harbour like last year or something, and like no one had heard the song, and we sort of just put out, hey, we're going to try this like live recording thing, and we literally took lyrics and printed out lyrics on pieces of paper, handed it to the crowd, and we like got them to practice it quite a many a times. To which point the fire alarm went off in the venue. So that like delayed it even more. But yeah, we just yeah, I can't remember it. I know our producer was like something like this has never been done. Let's like really shoot for it. And helped record it down there as a live thing. But yeah, it was fully. We just got the crowd to do a couple of takes after sort of rehearsing it a tiny bit, and we're all standing in the crowd just screaming with a couple of microphones at the back, and it turned out to be usable. And it was a nice little fitting at the end.
I kind of, well, printed out lyrics is one thing. I don't know why, but I had this mental image of like Emmy standing next to like a giant whiteboard with like the chorus written in there, and she's like pointing out in
Like
the distance,
pointing.
going,
Yeah, like primary school music classes. Hey, you just playing the recorder or something.
Someone actually gave me for Secret Santa last year, gave me a recorder because they knew I do interviews, and I was like, one of these days I'm
Yeah.
gonna like do it, like learn a really awful version of like a recorded version of someone's song, and as they
Yeah.
come in on the Zoom meeting, I'm just there going to be like
So, oh, sorry, man, didn't see you there. Just practicing,
a.
It's what I do in my time.
So, how long have you been working on this? When did you guys lay it down?
Album. Man. So I think like, well, we've got probably the earliest song on the album would be is Low Budget Horror, which we released. I think was it like early 2022. I think it was like the first song out of the gate. And then the few singles before that also coming into the album. But I guess we smashed out like six or seven of the new songs in I think October last year. So it's been a pretty quick turnaround to actually get it in and out for this year. Um, we've got it's funny like even still now we're actually like planning out and ready have things ready to go for the songs like post album release. So for a change, Redhook is actually very much ahead. Usually it's like, oh shit, we're like, it's been, 2 months since we put out a song, time we need to get something out and still play the singles game kind of thing. But yeah, the album I feel came together like the singles before the album came like, one by one by one. But when it came to sort of crunch time, yeah, it was a grueling couple of weeks to the point where we it was when we were on tour with In Heart's Wake. Sorry, I'm jumping all over the place. Uh, yeah, we recorded it in between the tour with In Heart's Wake. So we'd go away on tour for the couple of days, come back, record, go away for tour, come back and record. So probably spanning over three weeks or so to smash out the new seven songs in amongst touring. And Emmy was not happy because she could barely speak by the end of it. Her voice was not happy, and she actually got like really like ill and had to go see quite a fair few doctors because she thought she actually did permanent damage. It just didn't heal.
Yeah.
So we were very lucky. And she's been very much on vocal rest since and still trying to heal the damage that was done during that time. So yeah, not a good idea to do recording and touring at the same time.
It feels strange that, well, it's so strange. I was just thinking that you've essentially got all the time in the world to put together the material for a debut, but when it comes for the sophomore, it's all of a
Yeah.
sudden going to be coming off the road and going, shit, now we've got no more songs left and we yeah, we need to come up with
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
just thought I'd put
like,
that in your head, mate.
yeah, thanks. I mean, sure, I cannot be worse than what we did for this one. Like that, it was insane. It's just everyone was so tired and all over the place, and maybe that's why we have some weird and wonderful songs. Just people running on no sleep and throwing whatever comes to mind into the songs. But yeah, we've asked our bookings and management like, hey, can we not do this again because it was pretty wild. It's all right for us instrumentalists, but Emmy, you just really like no, you don't get much sleep on the road, and it's very tiresome doing the whole vocal recording thing. Whereas our fingers and hands will come back pretty
Mm.
easily.
You guys managed to tick off a bucket list item I didn't realize I had, and that was to
Yeah.
see a circle pit conducted via saxophone. Um, I'm
Yep.
assuming that you played that before the band. My mind goes, I think it was an Audi ad or something, and it was, the band's playing, and all of a sudden the guy comes out with a slide trombone, and he's like, "What?" And
Oh
he's like,
yeah.
"Oh, an Audi."
Yeah.
And like, how did you go about introducing the saxophone into the band's music?
Yeah. I guess the song that the sax is first in with us is "I Don't Keep Up," and so yeah, we recorded it for that. But yeah, saxophone was my first instrument. I picked it up in year three, I think, in primary school, and played it right up until high school, and then once left high school, just didn't touch it again until we were writing the EP, and it came to this "I Don't Keep It Up" song, which has the bongos and sort of a nice like happy party riff, and it's all up in the air, um and sorry, just notifications popping up for the band. And yeah, it was like, hey, can you play this? I know we need a solo in here. Like we'd done the guitar solo thing in Bad Decisions. So we're just sort of riffing. I was like, oh, like I've got a saxophone under my bed, but I haven't played since high school. He's like, can you play a solo? I'm like, uh, yeah. So blew the cobwebs off it, brushed the mold off it kind of thing. And yeah, threw it in there. And yeah, my parents and music teachers from back in the day were very proud. They're like, oh, good to see you actually doing something with all that time spent on that instrument. And it's funny, like still better at saxophone than I am at guitar. And it's just a wonderful instrument that I don't play enough and take for granted, I think.
So I've got to ask, what's a modern metal band or a metal band of any description that you think could be improved with the addition of a saxophone?
Oh, adding a sax. Look, let's go for something wild. Let's go for so animals as leaders. Let's add a sax to them. So it's just this hectic jazz fusion, wild, whatever it may be.
Um,
But a band, I don't know if you've heard them. A band that does it really well is a band called Shrezzers. They've
no.
got, yeah, have a listen to them. They put out a new album recently, and just it's really like kind of modern metalcore, poppy alt stuff. But it's got these like amazing saxes in there, and it shreds along with the guitars, and yeah, it's really cool. I really love it. But yeah, I'd recommend it.
Were you a John Zorn fan at all?
Is it bad if I don't know who that is?
No, it's okay. It's
Okay.
okay. He was an old man
Do I
when I was
lose
growing up.
points?
He's probably in his 60s now.
Okay.
However, there is an album that is going to absolutely blow your mind with almost how just unlistenably brutal it is. It's
Mm.
the group was called Painkiller. I
Hmm.
highly recommend you chuck that into your Spotify or make a little note of it.
Painkiller.
Uh,
Okay.
Painkiller. They had an album called Torture Garden, I believe it
Oh
is.
yeah.
Or and it's essentially, if you know the genre grindcore, it's essentially
Yeah.
grindcore played with a saxophone and a drummer and a bass, and it is the most
That sounds
horrific.
dope.
It
Is it
is
listenable?
no, not even a little
Fuck.
bit. I would literally put this on if I was in the CIA and I was like, "We're going to
Oh
break."
man.
It's fucking hectic.
Okay. I'll check it out. Who knows? Maybe it's like
one Hundred
a bit of
percent.
white noise to help me sleep on the road or something.
Um, Mate, this is actually really interesting. Like mental health is obviously a big subject for Emmy's lyrics and for the band's music. And it's interesting because I'm actually the reason I'm all woolly is because I'm actually at
Mm.
home on I just got put on antidepressants 2 weeks ago because I'm trying
Wow.
to get my head right. So I'm on leave from work.
Yep.
So I was possibly just in the best space ever to appreciate an album, Emmy's music and whatnot.
Wow.
Well, sorry, or the band's music, I should say.
Yep.
Um, to what extent, mate, do you reckon we as a society are getting better at dealing with mental health?
I think it's something you're able to actually speak about. You know, probably the first, a prime example would you just sharing with me that you're coming off antidepressants and I've been on them for a
I'm,
little over 2 years now. Just the
I'm going on them, I
NSSRIs.
should say.
Oh, you're going on them. Oh, sorry. I thought you were coming off them.
That's okay.
Y- yeah. But yeah, I mean, even sort of hearing and hearing people being able to sort of share that those kind of stories or thoughts about themselves in a pretty open way, um, nowadays is pretty amazing. Like, I, I'm sure it would have probably been when you grow up, like it's, keep all the feelings inside of yourself and don't show anything. And, one day it'll all probably bottle up and sort of spit out. Um, but I think, yeah, it's slowly moving in that direction that people understand a little bit more and a bit more opening their eyes and making sure that, looking out for their friends and having those tough conversations, that they might not have had before or, you know, just
Mm,
have someone to chat to.
yeah, 100%. It's interesting too. Like I realized I did the math, and you have been a band only slightly longer than I've been sober. I actually quit drinking at the start of 2018. And I noticed that
Shit.
Redhook started in 2017. So I was like, holy
Yep.
shit, there you go.
Wow. That's amazing. It's funny, like congratulations to you, man. It's funny, like in our bands, like no one really sort of drinks and parties, and a lot of bands on the road now, don't really sort of do that. And there's like the non-alcoholic beers are becoming way more apparent, and like on people's riders, like at Unify, they gave it to us, and we were just drinking them. I was like, oh, this is actually pretty good, and you don't wake up with the hangovers and do silly things. But yeah, it's funny how the whole alcoholism probably within the music industry and touring just really isn't a thing. Like you have a bit of a party every now and then, but most nights it's like shit. Everyone just wants to go to bed and do sort of the best show they can the next day. At least in the Redhook camp, like
Yeah.
there's some other bands that have a go and whatever. But yeah, it's funny how it's very much shifting to a almost back to the straight edge thing, but without the stigma. It's like, make your own choices and do whatever you want. But yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, Lindsay McDougall from Frenzal
Mm,
was the MC at Spring Loaded. We actually met and had a chat about it. Yeah, he's been offered as well because
yeah.
I think people are just a bit over it. But I never thought, I've always said that Australia is a nation of alcoholics.
Mm,
It's part of our culture. And I was really surprised to see that, yeah, for some people, they're shifting away from it, particularly young people.
yeah.
Like binge drinking was just part of my culture that I grew up in. It was just what
Yeah.
you did.
The
Um,
underage 15, 16-year-old parties where it all
yeah,
starts. Yeah.
yeah, man. So no, I'm glad to hear it.
Mm.
Um, let's wind it back a bit, man. What were some of your, for you as a musician, what were some of your like defining gig experiences growing up? What were some of the shows that just absolutely blew you away and maybe made you think, fuck, I'd like to do this for a living?
Man, for me, I think it was all the Reading and Leeds live shows and stuff you'd see on YouTube.
Mm.
Like they were always the big ticket items where, you see the huge crowds that they have overseas, where Australian festivals just don't compare in any sort of way. But yeah, I definitely remember seeing probably the biggest one for me would have been the Live in Texas DVD for Linkin Park. And I was rewatching that again the other day. It's like, holy shit, like these guys were so far ahead of their time, and you can see sort of the passion and the energy that comes from live shows. And it's a big part of why we sort of do it on stage as well, to sort of connect and share our messages and put on a show. But I'd say that would probably be the biggest one for me. I probably didn't know it at the time that it's something that I absolutely wanted to do, and is where I end up now. But looking back, it was like, fuck, like seeing those, like the live DVDs of Parkway, Lincoln Park. It's truly amazing, and so thankful for the stages that been able to get to with Redhook. And we've been able to play Download UK and Rock am Ring, Rock am Park, some of like the biggest festivals overseas. And
Yeah.
yeah, it's wild what it's been, the journey over the past 5 years or so. It's been, can't thank it enough.
It blows my mind to see how successful Parkway became. When I first saw them, I was in a pub with maybe 200 people, and they were
Yeah.
touring Killing with a Smile, and I had just seen
Shit.
them go. Like the next time they were down there was on Horizons, and their crowd had
Yeah.
it expanded by a factor of about 10. Like,
Yeah.
and then I see them on YouTube, and they're playing like, I saw them at Knotfest the other week, and with
Mm.
the most amount of pyro this side of Ramstein. And I'm like,
Yeah.
what? Well
Yeah.
done. Yeah, go the boys. Um,
So cool. I miss the boogie boards and with the helmets of people diving in. It'd be funny if they could still do that, but probably a bit outdated.
what's lastly, Matt? What is some of your favorite places in Australia to tour and why?
uh Recently discovered, so yeah, as part of like the In Heart's Wake tour that we went on, we like it was the whole regional thing where we went like up all the way up to Townsville, to all the way down to Tasmania. Like I, I saw so much of the country that I hadn't seen before. I like literally hadn't been above Brisbane North or Melbourne South. So yeah, going to see Tasmania is like a really pretty place. It's quite nice, and I'd say definitely up north, seeing some of the waterfalls. And like the crowd is very rowdy. Townsville and around those areas love their love their drinks and having a good time in the mosh there. So I'd say, like, if it was like a summer thing, going up north would be lovely. And yeah, Tasmania is definitely on the books as well. It's just a nice sort of country feel town, which is like, I'm from Yass. It's a population of a couple of thousand, near Canberra, so it kind of felt like home, sort of thing.
Yeah, I grew up there. It's just bloody cold.
Oh, Tasmania? Oh,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah, nice, yeah.
Too fucking
Pretty
cold.
though.
It is
Yeah,
very pretty. I give you
yeah.
that. Craig, thank you so much for your time today, mate. The album is incredible. So when are you guys actually releasing it? Is it?
Comes out this Friday, 21st of April.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
couple
Oh,
of days to
exciting.
go.
Awesome, mate. Well, you have done really well. And when I see animals as leaders this Friday, I will be picturing them with a saxophone. Uh,
Absolutely.
I might even bring my own. I'm sure they'd appreciate it.
Just
Me.
rock up with a recorder. I'll be like, look, it's not a sax, but it's basically the same thing.
Yes. Jason will love it. And I absolutely
Yeah,
won't get beaten up.
yeah.
Thanks for your time, mate. Have a great day.
Awesome, mate. Cheers. Catch you some. Cheers.